Today's episode is all about selling, all about it. And it's about the fact that I've forgotten that you need to do it. It's about the fact that if you aren't selling, you're most likely dying in your business. And I think specifically, I'm going to share with you in less than 20 minutes, a very quick and easy way of selling that you should be doing every day to grow your business. I'm trying to make it drop dead simple. And I also want to share with you kind of my own realization that, my goodness, this is why I should be selling. I uncovered $15,000 in projects in less than 30 minutes of calling. So I'm going to explain that here in a second. But before I do it, by the way, if this is your first time to the podcast, my name's Nathan Freitas. I left my $300,000 salary position to build my own creative agency. And the goal of this podcast is for me to show you exactly how I'm doing it and exactly how you can do it as well with ease. So let's jump in. All right, so I've been running into this challenge recently, which is, a lot of my friends say it's the artist challenge. And I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. When I was selling someone else's product or service, I never had any issue because I could align my passions with that product or service. And from that place of passion, sell with so much confidence that it was easy. And I've done that my entire sales career. But once I hop into the seat as a solopreneur, as the business owner, and I am selling myself, that's when things have been getting difficult for me. Because what's in the way of that other confidence is this self-sabotage, this inner critic that my stuff's not good enough. And so I've been struggling with that. And so because of that, I've been quieter than I normally would be. And a brief conversation with a buddy of mine over cigars and conversation was, Nathan, it's time to get going. It was so cute because he said, yeah, I said cute. He said, I'm so hesitant to share this with you because I don't want to project my own vision or goals on you. And I was like, well, what if it's something I need to hear? And he said, okay, well, here it is. It's time for you to get going. Like, what are you waiting for? And I took those words and I felt it and I said, you're right. And so coming into this week, I decided, okay, I'm going to start, quote unquote, selling every day. And part of that process was setting up a simple CRM system where I can track my leads and conversations, which is a whole nother discussion. But the cool thing was I set up that CRM system super fast. I mean, drop dead simple. And again, I'll do a whole nother video about it. If you're not familiar with CRM, it's customer relationship management. You should be having a database where people you either know or want to know and tracking your emails, your phone calls, all of that with a bit of a process and a system is really important. So I started setting that up this week, and most importantly, making the calls. And so this is how it went down. this epic day of $15,000 that I mentioned to you. It hasn't been closed. It's not closed revenue yet, but if I were to project it, it will close in the next month. Okay. So two things happened. First off, I had been emailing a referral. Someone referred someone to me via email, and I had followed up twice with very direct emails, saying, requesting time to meet. I've got availability tomorrow at this time. Does that work for you? So being very tactical, very specific with that person. No response. And a matter of fact, he wasn't even looking at my emails. But when I was going back through, looking at the inbox and seeing if I missed anything, I realized, in his signature, his direct line, his actually cell phone number was listed. So I said, forget it. I'm going to call him. I'm not going to worry about the fact that he hasn't responded. And so I did that. So I called him up, introduced myself really quick. And by the way, I'm going to assume that you don't know how to have a sales conversation in this episode. So I'm I'm going to speak, I'm going to educate, and hopefully some of it's new. Some of it I take for granted, but I've been told that because of all the years I've spent doing it, it's not something that everyone knows how to do. So I called him up. He doesn't know who I am. And the very first thing I said was, "Hey, it's Nathan, AJ's friend. AJ referred me to you." Right. So I'm creating that first name basis connection. I'm not saying, "Hey, this is Nathan Freitas. Hey, it's Nathan. So-and-so referred me to you." And I was calling about that video that you need created, the story that you need created. And he immediately jumps in. He's like, "Oh, yeah, listen, man, I'm so sorry. I've got the decision maker for this project. He's not available right now. Um, I'm not sure what I'm going to do." But in that, as he's starting to talk, he starts to throw out, I'm almost like he's overwhelmed. He's like, "I'm not sure if the video project's going to cost 15,000 or 30,000. I don't really understand it." And I said, "Well, how can I help you? Let's just have a conversation." And so we started to talk, and I started to uncover what he really needed. And if you've ever heard of this, open-ended questions is a really good way of having a conversation. Open-ended questions are when you can ask someone a question and they cannot answer with a yes or no. They have to answer with a sentence. So it allows people to open up. So I asked him something along the lines of, "Well, tell me a little bit about what it is you're envisioning right now." And so I won't go through the details of the conversation. The most important thing for you to understand is, as we were talking, he listed off all these things that he was envisioning. And then he asked me point blank, "What do you think that would cost?" And I kept it simple. I said, "Listen, your cost tends to fall into these three buckets. It's the shooting of the product, the editing, and the planning. Those are the three main buckets. The editing and the planning, those tend to be pretty set. But if we did 1, 2, 3 days of shooting, that's where your costs get increased. But from what you've described, I think my base level package of $15,000 would do that for you. And within that package, you get all these things, right?" So I kept it concise, short, gave that to him. And he said, "Oh, that's reasonable." I said, "Yeah. But hey, what makes sense for you next steps? You mentioned the decision makers out of the office. How can I help you move this along? How can I help you get to a place?" And this, I've always used this, and I think it's important that I just recommend it. I wanted to get them to a place of a yes or no. Most people like to get things checked off their to-do list. And so as when my sales hat is on, I'm trying to get them to that place as fast as possible. So in this case, he said, "Well, if you're open to it, maybe just a meeting." I'm like, "Listen, I built my business off of relationships. I more than just the final product. It's about the relationship and the co-creation. I would love to meet with your decision maker, with the overall client." It's like, "Awesome. Okay, how does this next Thursday work?" That's great. Now, as we were talking, he says to me, "So we'll meet Thursday." What's really exciting is the day before, the client's receiving this Lifetime Achievement Award. And I said to him, "That sounds pretty important. Wouldn't you want that on video?" He said, "Oh my gosh, you're so right. You're so right. Can I pay you to come out and shoot that video?" I was like, "Sure, not a problem. And what we'll do is, if you hire me," actually, I think I said, "when you hire me for the larger video, the larger story, the $15,000 package, I'll deduct the hourly rate for capturing the footage the night before." And he thought that was a great idea. So I'm creating some connections, some hooks, mutually beneficial. Because, by the way, anything I'm going to capture that night of the Lifetime Achievement Award would make sense to include in a holistic story that he was envisioning anyways. So we locked that in, and it was easy, right? He connected me to his executive assistant. I've got the Wednesday night schedule, the invoice out for that. And now I have a meeting on the books for the following day with the decision maker to talk through that $15,000 product. This would not have happened if I didn't follow up using my CRM system. Does that make sense? I think that's an important thing to understand. And the most important thing, if I could say that awkwardly 5 times fast, is it's not just that it was follow-up, it's consistent follow-up. I don't know what this number is anymore. I've kind of fallen out of the statistics, the statistics around selling, but I know it's more than 6 touches. That means emails, voicemails, text messages, more than 6 times. I can guarantee that before you can actually close someone as a customer or not. So my message to you is to be consistent. I want to finish out this story because that was 15,000. There was another gal that I had not heard back from in about 3 emails. And again, I sent an email, and this time was really concise. My subject line had something to do with assuming you found someone for your project. And then the body of the email was, I hadn't heard back from you in a few times. My assumption is because the shoot date's so close that you've probably already found someone, but let me know otherwise. Have a great one. She responded back in about an hour, said, I'm sorry, I've been totally swamped. Let's hop on a call. We hopped on that call. I booked that client. It's another $1,000. So this is the power of a CRM system. And so my encouragement for you, I have no connection to this company. In fact, I'm shocked that I'm even saying these words come out of my mouth because I'm currently evaluating CRM systems. But HubSpot has a free CRM system that I personally really enjoy. I think it's really simple. And the thing that I love about it the most and why I would recommend getting it or a version of a CRM system is because now what I've done is I've pulled in any contacts I have from my contact from my phone book. I brought those in because those might be relationships I want to nurture. I connected it to my Gmail account, so conversations I'm having in Gmail I can create as leads in real time. And most importantly, as I get people's information, I put it into the CRM system in real time as well, whether that's vocally, over the phone, for instance. But these 2 examples that I just shared with you would not have happened. I would not have closed that business if I didn't have some sort of, even right now, it's rudimentary, if I didn't have some simple process in place. So my challenge for you is to go out today, tonight, tomorrow morning, if you don't have this yet, and get a simple CRM system. Don't spend any more time than 30 minutes setting it up. Again, HubSpot's got one. For creatives, there's another one. Actually, well, we've got HubSpot. We've got Monday.com. ClickUp is another one. Zoho CRM. These are kind of 4 or 5 that I'm looking at. But take a look at any of those and get it set up so that you can start to systematize how you follow up with people and how you're selling. Because I guarantee you, if you do this an hour every single day, you will constantly be building this book of business up to pay you consistently as you build your business. So that's my challenge for you today. I hope this episode was helpful. In the following episodes, I'm going to dig into who you should be reaching out to, kind of the thought process around that. And I'm just simplifying it. It's been so fun for me because I know a lot of this stuff and I've studied a lot of stuff from amazing marketing to sales gurus across the industry. But what I'm noticing as I'm sitting in the seat doing it, I get kind of focused on what's working for me. And that's what I'm going to share with you next. That's it for now. Have a great one. Thanks for listening to the Creative Entrepreneur Blueprint. Catch you next time. See ya.